Welcome to the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast. We don't shy away and keep secrets here. We empower you with education, telling you the truth about all things aesthetic medicine while encouraging you to be the best version of yourself. It's time to look great and feel good doing it. This is your host, mom, speaker, and board-certified physician, Dr. Judith Borger.
Hello, and welcome to episode 42 of the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast. This is Dr. Borger, and today I have the distinct pleasure of inviting the incredible Lily Chandra to the podcast. Lily Chandra is an intuitive energy healer, a medical intuitive who has developed a modality called Cosmetic Energy Healing, where she uses intuitive powers and works with somebody's energy body to basically transform the physical appearance and let their beauty and let their light shine. What I love about today's episode is that we really talk about all the spectrum of cosmetics and how it's inclusive and how we're all on the same journey to allow patients to live their most authentic and beautiful lives. She also has a skincare line called Brahmi Beauty, and she is located in Whistler, Canada. Please help me give a warm welcome to Lily Chandra. Hello, Lily. I am so excited that you're joining us today all the way from Canada. And like I said in my intro, it is just so amazing, I think, that we can bring different worlds together and different perspectives and really talk about all the different thoughts and philosophies, but then also about what is all the sort of ground we have in common. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm also really excited to have this conversation because I believe that we can use all of these energy healing modalities that I understand with meditation, using the tools that you have to change our bodies, to actually connect with ourselves and tell ourselves what to do. So it's a beautiful immersion of our two practices.
Yes. So, one of the questions you probably get asked a lot, I introduced you as an intuitive energy healer as well as a medical intuitive. For those of you who aren't familiar with your work, what is that? What does that mean? What is it that you do?
So I started my career as a medical intuitive, and basically what I call that is like a psychic doctor. So I can read people's energy bodies, and when I meet them, I know exactly what type of health issues they've had, and I know how to fix them using energy healing. So my intuition just tells me, like, I can see it as a picture, I can hear it as my mind, I can see specific incidences like injuries that people have had. And my hands just start to flow when I work with clients, and intuitively it knows what to do. I'm like a puppet, and I heal people by looking at their energy body. And ultimately, matter is just energy. We learned this in school. And so I'm able to connect with energy and redirect it and actually reshape the architect's plans, like the body's blueprint, which are the cells, to then shift the physical body. So that's how I started my career. An energy healer basically works with the energy body. Everyone has a different modality. So I've channeled my own modality. And then what I did about 10 years ago is I developed a new method that can reverse aging. So basically, I'm working with the cells on a very different level, on more intrinsic level, and guiding them to consciously create the shape of the cell, the size of the cell, to transform the physical appearance of the body.
So when people come to you, let's say for the cosmetic energy healing, is that something where they come, like when they come to me, they're like this and here, and I want to do a little there? Is that sort of like how they come to you? Or do they really just come and you look at their energy body and you go, oh, it's a little off here, it's a little off here, let me just make it all flow, and that's how it works better again?
Yeah, so it's actually a combination. That's a good question. A lot of people come to me with images, celebrity noses. So it's probably the same as you. And can you make this a little smaller? Can you bring in my cheek a bit and, make my lips a little bit puffier here, make the upper lip, the line is a little crooked. I do all of that. But the difference is I'm combining a spiritual healing art. So the way that works is it works with your intrinsic energy. So like your soul energy, your karmic energy. So I do about 50% of the work and the client does the other 50%. So they have to let go of the past. They have to allow the healing to happen. And so the way that I'm able to transform the body is by looking at the cells, looking actually at the DNA and the karma that's sitting in the cells. And by letting those things go, and as I start to transform that energy, so this is the energy healing part, then the body can start to reshape itself. But the interesting thing is that they have to do that part of it. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, but I can tell before I take on a client if the transformation is possible.
You know what that makes me think of, and again, I'm kind of trying to connect commonalities, is I'm an osteopath by training, right? And I don't know how much you know about osteopathic manipulative medicine and osteopathic principles, but one of the core principles is really that the body is one unit, and then that the body has the power within itself to heal itself, and that any even medical treatment has to work with the body to heal itself. So it's very interesting because it is one of the core tenets of osteopathy, and a lot of the osteopathic, craniosacral therapies, they work very much in us supporting the sort of long waves of the body, which are the same thing. They're cellular breathing mechanisms, they're energy waves, in order to help the body heal itself, not in a cosmetic sort of world, but in a very much alignment and functional world.
I do. That's really interesting you say that, because I believe that a lot of those two treatments are based on the chakra system. And I work a lot on the chakra system. So the chakra system sits in our spine, and it's how the energy from the non-physical comes into the physical body. So they're major energy portals or gateways. So if those are blocked, energy cannot come into the body. So that energy is what heals the body. Think of like when you're driving and the highways and the roads, we have big highways, we have little highways. And if there's an accident, the cars can't move. The energy body is the same. If something is blocked, the energy can't move. So that it's not able to heal the body easily. So as I clear the energy body, the body now has the ability to heal itself, to repair itself, and to do what it needs to increase the function of the body. And this is how the healing starts. So this is a big part of what also I am doing. And then that allows the cells now to regenerate itself, reshape itself. So there's definitely a similarity there as well.
And I love that you're kind of bringing up the chakra system, and that you explained it for those who aren't familiar, because, we sort of said in the intro, I do, some Kundalini yoga, and it is very interesting, even when as I said, I'm trying to really put a bridge between what you're saying and what, maybe listeners that are not so familiar with it are like, not like, whoa, that sounds really woo. But, if you think about somebody even who's gone to a retreat, or even who's gone to a lovely getaway with their significant other and has been stress-free, and they come back and they look like, right, they look like they've just rejuvenated, they look relaxed, they look like their energy is glowing. So even though in real world, without obviously going to the depth of what you're going through, I think most of our listeners will probably be able to find examples where they've seen little things like that happen, where when your energy opens up, when your body is rested, when your body has vitality, how your whole physical appearance transformed. Conversely, when somebody is stressed or has had trauma or grief, and a lot of the mainstream, I'm going to call it mainstream literature, is now very much, I think, going back to ancient wisdoms, which I think is really funny, or we're able to finally get like the scientific proof for a lot of the things, like, the body keeps score about how trauma works, how generational trauma works, how it really does get stored inside of your body, which is, I think, something that some of the energy modalities have been saying for ever, really.
This is a good point. So the way that my system works is that I believe that every thought and every emotion that you've ever had makes an imprint in your energy body. So in your cells, in your muscles, in your bones, in your face, actually, because when we make these facial expressions, the energy is sitting in our face. And so what the energy healing does is it actually releases that thought. It releases that emotion. It releases the stress or the trauma that you've been through, so that your cells can rejuvenate itself. You can release that heavy energy. When you just feel really heavy, and sometimes it takes a while to get back, but when you get back, you're like, oh, I feel good. And that's all it takes, like you're saying, to feel good. to shine your light, to smile, and people go, oh, you look good, and I feel good. It's not that you're physically changing anything. Sometimes it's just your mood. And by being happy, your cells are happy. The frequency shifts. Your cells can heal itself. Your cells are like, yay, it's a beautiful sunny day. Let's party. Let's rejuvenate. Let's fix that. It's a good day. So there really is a correlation with that. And that's how energy healing works. It looks at the body from the perspective of emotions many times. And then the energy healing releases the emotions. It heals the past. So when you talk about generational trauma, the DNA healing that I do actually shifts that. So when we have children, our emotional body is also transferred through the DNA. This is what my system believes. And so the energy healing releases that through the DNA. It releases it on a much deeper level. And that also can shift your genes, which can then allow you to transform your body. So even if you have a certain type of genetics, and this is what I work with clients, let's say clients who have really thick hair and they want thinner hair. So that's usually genetic, your hair thickness, not always, but in like 80% of cases. So then I will go into the genetics. I will look at anything that they've gotten from their ancestors, clear the trauma, clear that energy, and then start to change the thickness of their hair. So it's not a superficial healing art. It's actually something that's very, very powerful when you look at it from that level.
So in terms of you having developed this modality, would you just share your path? Because I assume it's a very fascinating path. As I hear you talk, like, how did you get? So first of all, were you one of those little girls that could see it at like 5 years old? Or when did you notice you had that gift? And then tell us how you developed it to be who you are today.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, because I actually never thought I'd be an energy healer. I didn't think it was a career, that's for sure. And I actually thought that you were born with it. I thought people were born psychic. I thought people had the gift when they were born. But what I realized is everybody has the gift. We all have it at some levels. We're all intuitive beings. We all know how to heal ourselves, but we're not consciously thinking about it. So I did a lot of meditation and a lot of spiritual practice. And in my early 20s, I became spontaneously psychic, where I knew everything about everybody. I didn't know right away that I was an energy healer. And it was when I decided to pursue a career in energy healing that I started to pursue a career as a psychic, that I started to channel a method, and I just knew how to do what I was doing. There was no explanation. So that was in 2009 that I started my career. And very instantly, people started to come. I didn't even tell anyone. Someone asked me what I was doing, and I said I changed jobs, and they said, well, what are you doing? And I didn't want to tell them, because it was actually a soccer mom, and I didn't know how they'd respond. And she forced it out of me, and she goes, great, I want to come to you. And she was my first client. So things have just been very organic for me. And I believe it's because it was my destiny. It was my journey to bring this to the world. And I actually studied business, because that's what I like. So I think that was also part of the plan, because I was able to take something that I really didn't even understand what it was and bring it to the market, and to make a successful career, to understand what are people looking for, and how to make a website, how to promote myself. And I think that's definitely a struggle energy healers have, because it's different parts of the brain. But at the same time, I think you can do anything, and I'm proof of that. So it's been a really interesting journey, and I feel very lucky, because I really love what I do, and I love talking about this, and I love changing the way people think, even if it is a little bit, because if you can learn something from this and heal your own body, that's powerful.
Yes, or at least, like, I think when I think about that, like, one of the concepts that's really fascinating to me as I'm evolving is really that idea almost of sovereignty. And I don't mean that as in like we don't need to be connected, because I feel like we're very connected, but also this idea that you do have this incredible amount of sovereignty over your own self and your destiny, and like you said, your thoughts, your emotions. And also, like, really, I think a lot of us in my coaching, I work a lot about kind of allowing people to see what is really all this cultural BS, like, right, we're born perfect, and then at some point culture and people like tell us we're not, and to really allow them to kind of discover their inner selves and the fact that their wisdom lays within them. So I just kind of love the fact that I feel like you're doing this on a like magnified, like times like I don't know what level. That's just amazing to me.
Thank you. I think so too. One of the things that I found is that people, when I'm working with people, they have to believe that the energy healing is possible, and they have to believe that they can do it. These are the two things. So obviously, if someone's working with me, they have the belief that it's possible, because they wouldn't be working with me. So that's 50% of it. The other 50% is they have to believe that they can do it. And if they can do it, sometimes it works, but sometimes they reverse it. And the other piece is they have to feel worthy to look beautiful. They have to be worthy
Yes.
to look beautiful.
Let's talk about that, because that is a very like recurrent theme, is that you are all beautiful, right? And yes, please tell me more about that.
So one of the things that my system does is it connects you to your heart chakra, and it connects you to your divinity. And it believes that true beauty comes from within. True beauty comes from knowing who you are, feeling safe to express yourself, being open to express yourself without judgment, without fear. And then this energy in your heart can start to open, and your divinity can start to radiate. So when I do my energy healing facials, it's actually your divine light shining beyond your physical body, beyond your face. And people actually have this beautiful glow, and it lasts. Like clients, I tell them, don't, you're good for at least 6 months. And they come back 6 months later and they're like, yeah, it lasted 6 months. And I'm like, great. So they're ready to shine their light. They're ready to show up and be who they are. So the energy healing also works on, well, why are they closing their heart? What's the trauma they've experienced? What has someone said to them? You're ugly, you're not good enough. Maybe
Yes, and
maybe they went through a divorce or a breakup, or something traumatic happened, and they've lost their identity a bit. And that's probably why people come to you, right? After divorces, it's a very common time to want to refresh your look and really prioritize yourself, to come back again to your wholeness and to your place of self-love.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I love how we're really finding that it all weaves together, right? And that's why when, we connected, I was like, I want to have this conversation, because I think this is really like, it's all one, right? Like, and that's kind of what I try to, I do aesthetic medicine and I do coaching. And, so many people are like, well, that's two different things. And I'm like, but it's not. It is not. It is not at all, because, when you, and I did highlight this from your website. There was a quote on your website that I wrote down because I loved it. And it is, beauty is being able to confidently express your authentic self. And I just got to say, like, absolutely, because you're right. It's that divine light. It's that, whatever you call it, right? You call it divine light, but even if it's just like, you being able to be aligned with your authentic self, you being able to like also love yourself. Like, I think like self-love, like when I sometimes am coaching, like here, and I was there too, like, right? Like, I mean, I am the first one to say, like, I used to be so judgmental of myself. And you know what I realized, it was my mother's voice, like, right? I grew up in a house full of judgment. So that whole perfectionism, that judgment, like, and yes, it served me well because, right, I made it through med school, like, cool. But then, in the way, there was that unhappiness and that never feeling good enough. And what I really, really had to heal was that connection with myself, and that like really loving myself unconditionally and having my own back. And maybe some of that was also decoupling from, the family of origin. But I just love, some of the other things. I'm just going to like read them for our listeners because I love them. Is, beauty is not about how you look in the mirror. It's about how you feel about yourself. Yes. And then, really how you talk about what really matters is your connection to the divine and how you radiate self-love. Like when I read that, it just really does something to my soul and it makes me want to cry. And when I have that reaction, it really means that it's like such a truth that I believe on such a deeper level. So thank you for showing up like that in the world.
Thank you. I can see that you're reacting to it and getting emotional. And this is why I do this work. It's powerful. It's powerful to see yourself as a beautiful being. I don't think we realize what that even feels like. And I've worked with clients, and for the first time in their life, they feel beautiful. And they thank me for it because they didn't even know that they didn't until they found that joy within. And it changes your own perspective of yourself, which changes your reality. Because I believe in law of attraction, and the energy you put out to the world is the energy you receive. And from that positive place, you create your reality. So the more you love yourself, the more you're going to live a better life and the life that you want.
Yes, yes. And I think that is like also why I do what I do. And I love that you're able to say it so eloquently. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because I feel like you're sort of expressing like the underlying core of what I believe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do.
You're like, yeah, I'm intuitive. I know this. Like, hello, this is why I'm here.
Just the fact that you're interested in talking to me, I thought, oh, I was really excited. I was like, this is going to be fun.
Yes, yes. And I just, yeah, as I said, the more I learned about what you do, the more I feel like we're sort of doing the same thing, just in in different ways. And I think that's really important to know that there's like this work, right? And this work, even though we love beauty, it's all about feeling good and self-love. And like you said, connecting to the divine. And it's not an and or, right? And I think that's really what I wanted to connect with this conversation. It's not a, oh, tell me about the science behind this. Like, otherwise I'm not going to believe it. Like, it's very much a, like, a lot of us are doing the same work, right? And we're all like one big community with that goal of allowing more beauty and more love and more, like, I don't know, allowing people to feel better and radiate and really live their best lives.
Yeah.
And within that community of, whether it's medical professionals, healers, teachers, all that, we're all kind of working on the same goal. So I think one of the reasons I really wanted to have you on is really also to give that message of inclusivity, and that we all are kind of like on the same team and all doing the same thing. And I think this whole like division is so silly too sometimes.
I agree. And one comment that's coming to share is when I work with clients, some of them, it's so interesting. It's like you said, it's that voice in your head. People have this voice in their head. And when I talk to them on the phone, sometimes I haven't met them, and they really feel disfigured. They really feel that they can't start their life until they get rid of their gray hair because they're nervous about that. You know, some people have like something with their nose or their skin or whatever it is. They just think they're so disfigured and they can't start their life. And so I'm very passionate about working with them. Then when I meet them, they're absolute models. And it's because of that voice in their head. And that's the beauty of the energy healing. And it can start to release that voice and that negative programming. But a lot of my clients, like I said, do get surgeries. And if maybe they're not ready to work with me, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't pursue what makes them happy. A lot of people are isolating themselves in their homes because they feel that depressed about the way they physically look. And that's another reason why I wanted to talk to anybody really who has influence, is because we need to also understand that for aesthetics, great, we can change the way we look, but people shouldn't be harmed to feel that they're less than because of beauty standards and what the beauty industry is saying that we need to look like or be like to be happy or successful. But at the same time, we want to look good. You know, if you're going to go to your daughter's wedding or, you know, your best friend's wedding, you're going to want to wear the best outfit to feel good and to have the memories from the photographs. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's one thing that I find people say to me is like, well, is that superficial? Should we be caring about that? When we look at the Hindu gods, they're adorned in jewels. They look amazing. They look perfect. And it's not because they are, it's because it's the feeling of perfection. It's the feeling of beauty. We want to radiate that. That feels good. And so I think it's important for people to understand it from both sides. Even if it's energy healing, it's about the way you feel. It's about manifesting every single aspect of your life, including your physical body. So it's not so much about beauty, it's about how beauty is being portrayed and whether or not it's good or bad. And one thing that I have noticed, a lot of people who are interested in getting a lot of beauty services, they have a lot of pain in their heart. They've been through a lot of trauma, and that's something they feel is going to make them feel better because they feel like they look horrible. So I think it's important not to judge people too, and really understand what motivates people, and to have compassion and to be sensitive and to understand that everyone's on their journey and we shouldn't judge anyone's journey. We should only judge ourselves.
With kindness. Not judge ourselves too harshly either. Like, yes, you want to be a mindful, responsible human being in the world, but you know, not judge too harshly, not judge with your mother's voice or your third grade teacher's voice or that mean auntie's voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Judge with a voice of like, am I doing the best thing that I can do? Is this how I want to show up in the world kind of voice? So tell me how you work with clients or patients. How do
So
you
this
work?
is the fun part. So people tell me what they would like done. Usually I just do the facials because I can do everything as I'm doing the facial. So even if you have a health issue, I can do a facial and work on the energy body because it's all connected. So my hands just automatically move around a person's face, and then I do neck lifts, face lifts. I can get rid of wrinkles with my magic finger, and I can reshape eyebrows, regrow the hair, add definition in the cheekbone. I can get rid of pores. I can even out skin tone. I work a lot with the eyes. I actually also do energetic nose jobs. I do it all. So I do breast augmentations, tummy tucks, butt lifts, everything basically plastic surgery can do with my hands, as well as work with the hair. I can dye the hair. I can make it thicker. I can do like I call it the Edward Scissorhands treatment, where it's like you've been on the spot. All using energy healing, and it's instant. That's one thing that people always ask about, like, does it have to grow back my hair? Like, how long? I'm working at the quantum field where time doesn't exist and things happen instantly. So it's using law of attraction. So when you manifest things, time doesn't exist, and you go to a space of consciousness where a thought creates a reality. And the better and better you get at it, the smaller the gap is from the thought to the reality. So this is where I work to manifest the body. And then I also have beauty meditations. So I have meditations for the face that you can listen to that will make your lips plumper, give you glowing skin, reduce acne. And I also have a skincare line that's called Brahmi Beauty. And it's a Whistler-based vegan and sustainable clean beauty skincare line that acts like a facelift and a neck lift in a jar. I have a face cream, a face serum. I have a lip plumping balm that adds fullness to the lips, adds color. And I also have something that's beautiful called the 1111 Magic Balm. And you put it on the wrinkles between your eyebrows and on your forehead. And it's kind of like a natural Botox. And it also connects you to your angels and your guides, and it awakens your third eye. So that one's great for before meditation, for spiritual practice. And it's also a magic balm that you can use for migraines, for scars, for pain, however you're feeling inspired to use it.
And I saw on your website that obviously your skincare, which looks beautiful. And as I said, kudos to the business degree, because I saw your website and I was like, damn, this is a very good website. So I love that you explained that you have that business, because you're right. You're so much of what you do is more in the right brain, probably, or even like outside of the brain kind of field, that I think you're right. A lot of people that are wonderful, like intuitives and healers and guides, they're in there's nothing wrong with it, but they're in a tent somewhere and you have to kind of know who they are and get told about them and then travel there and have a session. So I love that you were able to, use all your other background. So the skincare line obviously ships as well. If anybody is interested in it, the skincare line ships. The meditation can be downloaded. And then because they're pre-recorded, so basically on her website, and we will link everything, they're pre-recorded. And then in terms of you working with people, does it require physical presence, or do you do also like Zoom sessions?
Yeah, so I've decided to work with clients just in person now because it gives me more of an edge to help them reduce that 50% that's their stuff. So I work with people in Whistler, as well as I travel too. I'm doing a Europe trip soon. And then I travel quite extensively. I also have an online course, which I forgot to mention. It's called the Self-Love Facial. And so with that program, you learn how to do a 6-minute facial on yourself. And I go through all the different parts of the face, and I show you how to really get in there if you want to do a nose job, lip plumping, and that comes with the meditations and the skincare set. And that's available online.
Awesome. Well, that is very cool. I hope that you're going to travel somewhere near me, because I would love to meet you in person and have a session. So I will have to, I don't know if you have a website, tell me when you're traveling kind of thing. But if you're ever on the East Coast of, the USA, I would love to meet you in person and have a session. What else would you love to share with our listeners in the time that we have left?
Well, I'd love to talk about how you can heal your own body and how you can actually tune into the energy of your cells and change the physical properties. So this is what I teach in the course. And I just want to leave your listeners with something to take away to try themselves. So when we meditate, we get into a zone, and energy healing is cultivating that and directing our thoughts, directing what we want the body to do. And that's how we heal our body, using our mind and the power of the mind. So let's say you have cancer, because a lot of people have cancer, and this is a great example. You tune into your cells and you just talk to them. I usually find the central intelligence. I actually see a guy sitting at a computer who's coding, talking to the cell, putting it into the software. And I tell him, regenerate, regenerate, regenerate. That's all I'm saying. Regenerate, regenerate, regenerate. Detox, detox, detox. Detox my body. If you have some chemicals in your body, detox the chemicals from the prescriptions, heal my body. Like, just tune into that energy, tune into your cell, the central intelligence of the cell, and then just tell it what to do. That's all. It can be that simple if you're in the right vibrational state. So ideally meditate before, and then just tell your cells what to do. And then when I transform people's bodies and show them how to reshape their body, I take that to a whole other level. But this is the beginning, just tuning into the cell. Regenerate, regenerate, regenerate.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're all going to try that now. But remember, you guys, it's probably not the kind of thing to do while driving. Like,
No.
when you get to that level, like as she said, you want to meditate before, you want to really be in that space before you attempt it. And yes, thank you.
Thank you.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here. We're going to link all of Lily's links and everything in the show notes. If you want to quickly say them as well, that people have heard them, that would be awesome.
So you can follow me at Lily Chandra, and my other Instagram is Brahmi Beauty Co. And all of my information is on my website at lilychandra.com. And I also have a YouTube channel, and my channel name is Lily Chandra. And I have a lot of great resources there. And I talk about energy healing and all of the work that I do. So please feel free to jump on that channel and ask comments, because I actually reply to them. And if there's any specific things you want to know about, I make videos specifically for people who watch them.
Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you. And thank you for sharing all of your wisdom and presence with our audience.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really loved our conversation, and I really hope that this can open people's minds to something that's new. And even if there's one bit of information that changes the way they think, I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Aesthetic Doctor podcast with Dr. Judith Borger. We'd love to connect with you outside of the show. Follow Dr. Borger on Instagram at Dr. Borger, and find more online and ways to work with Dr. Borger at www.theaestheticdoctor.com. Until next time, be well.